Hello there, Comic Pros and Comic Joes. I am Brett the Comic Novice, coming to you live from my Comic Corner. And in this video, I'm going to be going over week 4 of Future State. Yes, 1 month down, 1 month to go. This will be a completion of the first 4 weeks, and now just only 4 more weeks left of this Future State event. And I will tell you, I've gone from being nervous about it to basically flatting out, all out skipping this whole event to actually, for the most part, I'm pretty much enjoying a large majority of the titles. So stay tuned for the comics I'm reviewing for the new comic book day from January 27th, 2021. Again, mostly DC. All DC. All right, so the comics that I'm going to be going through in alphabetical order are the following: Aquaman, issue number 1 for Future State. Batman Superman, issue number 1 for Future State. Dark Detective, issue number 2 of for Future State. Suicide Squad, issue number 1 for Future State. Superman versus Imperious Lex, issue number 1 for Future State. So please stay tuned. I will say the only one that I did not get because the art was a mess was Legion of Superheroes issue number 1. I was not going to go through that, but that also did come out on this the first month wave of Future State. So I've pretty much read all of them except for 3 books. Well, 4. I'll tell you that, the 4th one, in a moment. All right, so starting off, Aquaman Future State issue number 1, and I will tell you, just judging purely on the cover, which again, it's a cover. It's supposed to want to sell you on the story. And as you look at the story, you see Kid Andy, Aqualass, as she's called by Jackson in the story, just kind of surfing on a thingamabob. And looks like Jackson is just hanging loose and having fun. This story does not look interesting at all. It is not until you actually open up and the first page, you see a very different mood immediately on the first page of this story. You see Jackson, who looks very, war-torn, at least in my perspective, and fighting against these sharks. And again, similarly to the Future State Batman and Dark Detective or whatever, you do have these very neonish kind of lights and stuff like that. It really looks fantastic. As with every single one of them, they do have the multiverse was saved from the brink, and so this could be one of those unwritten world type things. I will say, with some of them, I'm sitting there thinking, I really hope that the unwritten world thing just remains unwritten, and this is our only glimpse into the future. This one, however, I will give you a spoiler. This was probably one of the best of the week. You have, again, this great art. Jackson, it looks war-torn and ridden down. He's being attacked. Something he sees basically gives him hope, and where he starts to laugh. And we get brought back to here. The title of this one is called The Confluence, Part 1. And it's, well, what's this? And then we go back 6 years prior to where Jackson and Andy are hanging out, doing this, doing that, and we find out that Andy's powers are not only to be able to control, I believe, water like her mother Mara, but she can also not just talk to animals. When she gets mad, like is in this panel right here, she's able to control the sea creatures, which kind of scares her. We go back and forth between present and future. We have some amazing art. We get the story of how they got here, how Jackson was essentially a prisoner. And we have this confluence thing that leads to all these different oceans, and I'm going to guess lots of different multiverses, which I don't know if that's ever been done before, but that sounds like a really fun idea. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful story. It is well written, well developed. To me, and not spoiling it for the rest of the issues, this was the issue of the week for January 27th, 2021. Aquaman, issue number 1, huge recommend. Next on the docket, we have an alphabetical order Batman Superman, written by Gene Yang, who has written Superman before in the New 52 era near the very end. He also did the new Superman, the Chinese Superman. And I will tell you, I was kind of concerned for this story, not because of his writing credentials, that he essentially, before we even read any of his stuff, had already been given the green light to take this title on going on post future state. So again, we have this whole story. This is a glimpse of tomorrow. This one is actually more close to the actual continuity than most of the other future states. So that this one kind of makes it a little bit more interesting than that. It's a kind of an odd story about how there's this drug going out that you can put it on your face, and I don't know if you can change into or your facial features or whatever, maybe your body can change into the animal that you want. As we see here, he shows Superman that his school mascot was the Rams, and so he wanted to play the best joke and be a ram. However, he found that there are side effects that, sadly, unbeknownst to him, sometimes even without the drug on his body, he will start developing horns and doing other things too. And so you have, Superman finds out that the origin of this drug is in Gotham. So he takes a trip to Gotham to figure out what is going on. So we have the magistrate who, I guess right here, is slowly gaining power. You have these people who have the drug on. They're getting ready to take out some of the magistrate's technology and stuff like that. And then, of course, we have these kind of sentinel-ish robots that have been popping up here and there from time to time. Good story. I've heard some complaints that Superman doesn't sound like Superman, or Batman doesn't sound like Batman and stuff like that. To me, it gives you kind of a glimpse at how Gotham and perhaps the future state world got to where it was, especially more or less Gotham, because of what the magistrate is currently trying to do with superheroes and masked vigilantes. So this is a good story. I do recommend it. The one that I really liked, that I did hear some difference of opinions on, is Dark Detective, issue number 2. This is the second time we've had an issue number 2. First time was with the next Batman. And we have a backup story featuring the Red Hood, written by Joshua Williamson. And again, the art in this is just amazing. I never thought I'd be one of those people that would open up a comic book and just talk about the art. But essentially what we have here is we have more of a thorough backstory on how Bruce Wayne happened to, supposedly be assumed to be dead, as well as, I guess you could say Batman. And you have to wonder if they actually figured out who Batman was. The one question, and you know what, you can nitpick and whine about this aspect of it, but the whole idea of the magistrate or Gotham not having Bruce Wayne's DNA on file is okay. Just, you know what? Just be in stunned disbelief, okay? Let's just assume that that is actually a thing. Or perhaps Batman can hack into the system and, turn off the refrigerator unit for that. Whatever. Who knows? But you have this really quite interesting lead up to where Bruce Wayne is poor and lives with a guy or he rents a room from a guy who is one of those paranoid people who believes that the government is spying and listening to you all the time, and which is not further from the truth in this sense in Gotham right here. So we get further backstory revolving around the magistrate, revolving around Bruce Wayne. It's a great story. It leaves on a really interesting cliffhanger. And yeah, I think Dark Detective so far, out of the two stories that I've read, is my favorite storyline going on forward. The next story is this Red Hood story, which I will tell you, there is very little dialogue in this story. I'm not the biggest fan of the art. The Red Hood seems to have probably betrayed the Bat family and is cashing in on the masked vigilantes. and basically assassin, not assassin for hire, but his girlfriend Rose, who was his girlfriend in all throughout the Deceased Dead Planet, as well as the one that happened before that, the 3-story arc, Unkillables. There we go. There, thanks, brain. That so they're continuing that kind of storyline here, which is kind of neat to be able to do that. It's an okay story. The art is not my favorite. Would I buy this book if sold singly? No, and I will tell you, Future State is Future State Gotham is going to be an ongoing title post Future State. So we are going to get continuing Red Hood stories, probably with this type of a storyline. I believe by Joshua Williamson, who did write this. And you have the fear of missing out, which drives me to want to buy some of the stuff that I buy, and then you have but for this, so yeah. I do like Dark Detective though. Again, strong recommend. This one, next one, The Suicide Squad. I was surprisingly impressed by this one. You have the cover, which just looks so odd. You have this Wonder Woman who looks possessed. You have Martian Manhunter who doesn't look like Martian Manhunter. You have a Batman character who kind of doesn't look all Batman-y. You obviously have this Aquaman who does not look like Aquaman. And then at least with the teasers for post Future State, you have Connor Kent as Superboy or Superboy joining the Suicide Squad. So you have a Superman character there. And so you're like, oh, okay, I guess they're forming their own Justice League Suicide Squad. All right, so as we open this up, you have a Talon who is a Batman, or you have William Cobb, the Talon, wears the Batman costume. You have Hypnotic Woman disguising herself as Wonder Woman. You have not Aquaman, but it is some poor bastard called Fisherman. I kind of like that. You have an Australian kind of Flash. She used to be, I guess, on the Teen Titans. She's known as Bolt. And then you have Clayface the 8th or the 12th that is disguising himself as Martian Manhunter. And then you have Superman, which is Connor Kent. This page is absolute, to me, beauty. And I found this story so fun because, again, I'm waiting for this Peacemaker fellow to show up. You have Brainiac, you have Sinestro, and you have this other person, this Thanagar person who they're all fighting. And, of course, they're fighting as hard as they can because they are a Suicide Squad. They're not letting go. And, of course, Amanda Waller is in charge of the Suicide Squad. She's as scrupulous as the rest of as you would expect. She has detonated a couple of people's bombs in the head. And then you find out near the very end that they have under control the crime syndicate. They are all under glass, and they could be used as perhaps, like, well, what they say is, there's always Task Force Z. Superman says, the crime syndicate? I thought we put them out of commission. Waller replies, they are for now, but they can still be good soldiers if needed with the help of that ring, which they tease in the lower corner, the Black Lantern ring. And then we have this page that ends the whole thing. And we have, this is the Suicide Squad right here. And it says, next, Justice Squad versus Suicide Squad. Finding out that we've been actually on Earth 3 the entire time throughout the whole issue, which was just like mind blown for me. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I've heard some complaints about it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was great because I found the Suicide Squad just so enjoyable. Finally, Imperious Lex Superman versus Imperious Lex. And I flipped through this a little bit, and I got about right here, And I was just like, you know what? I don't think this is speaking to me. So I just stopped reading it because you know what? I could give it an unfair, like, down review or whatever and dislike it for it, whatever. But you know what? Not all comic books are meant for me. And if they're not meant for me, I bought it. You know what? I wish I didn't. I wish I could get a refund on it. But besides that, you know what? If you liked it, good for you. If you didn't like it, also good for you. So, with that, I'm just going to turn it over to the end as I discuss all the things that, week 4 of Future State, end of the first month, 1 month down, 1 month to go, all that great stuff that happened. Turn it over to the conclusion of this video. So that is the week that was January 27th, 2021, week 4 of Future State. What are your thoughts revolving around week 4 of Future State? And about my thoughts about skipping one of the things altogether. Again, the first issue, Aquaman, issue number 1, I was blown away by. I'm kind of bummed that so far there's no announcement right now as of a Aquaman book post Future State. I will tell you, out of all of the standard superhero books, that one was the one I was mostly concerned about, and I was very well surprised. Superman Batman, or Batman Superman, I guess I should say. That one I was also kind of concerned about because before it even came out, they had already announced that the writer of that was going to take over that title over Joshua Williamson, who I've been kind of like. Dark Detective, I have just absolutely loved. And the backup story, I can't remember. Oh, yeah, The Red Hood. That was pretty good. Also by Joshua Williamson, too. Suicide Detective. Not Suicide Detective. Suicide Squad. Oh, my word. Can I tell you, I thoroughly enjoyed that. As I was going through it, I felt as though it was a twist ending. I know everybody was excited for the brand new character that's going to have an HBO Max series for it. And oh, this is just a publicity stunt for that character to get hype or whatever. I thought it was a really good twist at the very end because I was curious, where the heck is this character? And then the last one, Superman versus Imperious Lex. I got 2 pages into it. It's not for me. With that being said, I really have enjoyed month 1 of Future State. So on the docket for the first week of February, so month 2 of Future State for the first week of February, I have the next Batman. And then we have The Flash. I know a lot of people were bummed about it. I'm pretty sure even more people are going to be mad about this storyline that is happening with Wally West or whatever. Just have fun. Enjoy comics, okay? The one that I'm looking forward to the most, though, for the first week is Superman of Metropolis. I haven't read it yet. Duh. Anyway, I'm looking forward to that. It's not looking forward to the Mr. Miracle storyline. It hasn't intrigued me in the 2 previous ones. The first Superman of Metropolis, and then the other one that just was a huge letdown, Superman World of War, or War World, or whatever. And then, of course, we have the second issue of the Yara Flora Wonder Woman that I'm gonna be intrigued to find out where I kind of stand. I part of the Justice League, unlikable, at least in my book. And then I don't know if I'm expecting more for the new Wonder Woman than there actually was. But I was just not impressed. Doesn't act very Wonder Woman-y, and so I don't know. Maybe we'll see the progression as she gets hurt. At least, either 6-part mini, or maybe it's going to be an ongoing. And then the other one I picked up, I got it because I saw this on Comics with Bueller's, one of his comic lists for the week, and it intrigued me. And I saw this at my local comic book store. So I'm going to pick up, and I picked up this one, the Devil's Dominion, which I did flip through a couple pages. It looks pretty good. So that's going to be my week for the first week of February 2021. What are your thoughts again on Future State? How are you liking some of these titles? What are you intrigued by going on in the future? What are you dropping? Again, comments down below, like, subscribe if you'd like. I appreciate the feedback that I've been getting so far on some of these videos. And thank you again for joining me. Until next week, until next week, please stay tuned for, I guess, well, more Future State.